Hey there, amazing people. Welcome back to Powerful Stoic Way, your go-to place for practical wisdom that transforms your life. Today we're diving into a subject that so many of us struggle with: anxiety. Let's be real, life throws curveballs at us all the time, and sometimes our minds just won't stop racing. But here's the good news. Ancient Stoic philosophy holds some hidden, powerful tools that can help you face anxiety head-on and reclaim your peace of mind. In this video, I'll share 10 life-changing Stoic practices that will not only calm your anxious thoughts, but also strengthen your mindset so you can handle whatever life throws at you. We'll explore everything from mastering what you can control to embracing life's challenges with resilience and courage. But before we jump in, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're anxious about right now? Drop it in the comments, and let's see how Stoicism can help you flip the script. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon, so you don't miss more videos like this. Together, we're building a community of strength, wisdom, and growth. Ready to conquer anxiety? The Stoic way? Let's get started. Number 1. The what-if anxiety trap. Have you ever noticed how anxiety loves to ask questions like, what if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if something goes wrong? It's like our brains are programmed to predict the worst possible outcomes. But here's where Stoicism drops its first truth bomb. Epictetus famously said, "We are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them." What does this mean for you? Anxiety doesn't come from the situation itself. It comes from the story we tell ourselves about it. Let's say you're worried about an upcoming presentation. The event is neutral. Your thoughts, however, might spin into a tornado of, what if I mess up? Or, what if people judge me? The Stoic approach flips the script. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask yourself, what if I learn? Or, what if this goes better than I expect? The key is to challenge those anxiety-fueled assumptions with realistic optimism. You're not ignoring the risks. You're reframing them. Try this exercise. The next time anxiety whispers a what-if question, write it down. Then, challenge it with a positive or neutral counter-question. For example, what if I'm more prepared than I think? Writing it out helps you physically detach from the emotional chaos. This small but powerful step can shift your mindset in minutes. Share one of your what-if worries in the comments, and let's see how we can flip it together. And remember, every what-if is an opportunity to choose courage over fear. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to rewrite the narrative anxiety tries to force on you. Number 2. The dichotomy of control, mastering what you can and letting go of what you can't. One of Stoicism's most practical tools is the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's simple, yet profound. There are things in life you can control, and things you can't. Anxiety often arises when we confuse the two. Think about the last time you were stressed. Was it about something you could truly influence? Maybe you were worried about someone's opinion of you or the outcome of a job interview. Here's the hard truth. You can't control what others think, and you can't guarantee outcomes. But you can control how much effort you put in, how you prepare, and how you choose to respond. The Stoic approach is to focus exclusively on what's within your power. This is incredibly freeing because it shifts your energy from pointless worry to productive action. Let's use an example. Say you're waiting for the results of a medical test. Instead of obsessing over the outcome, focus on how you can care for your health right now. Take a walk, eat a healthy meal, or practice mindfulness. Here's a quick practice. Make a list of everything you're anxious about. Then divide it into 2 columns: things I can control and things I can't. Commit to letting go of the latter. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about finding peace. It's about redirecting your energy toward things that matter. Number 3, living in the present. The anxiety slayer. Anxiety loves to live in 2 places, the future and the past. It thrives on replaying regrets or worrying about what might happen. But the Stoics teach us to anchor ourselves in the present moment. Seneca said it best: "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about it. How often does the thing you fear most actually happen? Chances are your mind exaggerates threats that never come to pass. The Stoic practice of mindfulness is all about returning to what's real right now. Here's a practical example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Anxiety might tell you, you're going to mess everything up. Instead, take a deep breath and focus on the present. You can't change the traffic, but you can use the time to prepare mentally or practice gratitude for having a job to go to. One powerful exercise is to pause throughout the day and ask yourself, what's happening right now? Engage your senses. What do you see, hear, feel? This pulls your mind out of the anxiety loop and into reality. Use this as a moment to reset, reminding yourself that the future hasn't happened yet and the past is already gone. The present is all you truly have control over. It's where life happens, and it's where anxiety loses its grip. I'd love to hear your favorite ways to stay present when anxiety strikes. Drop them in the comments so we can all learn from each other. Number 4, negative visualization. Preparing for the worst to achieve the best. One of the most misunderstood Stoic practices is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. On the surface, it might sound counterproductive to imagine worst-case scenarios when you're trying to reduce anxiety. But here's the genius of this practice. It helps you prepare emotionally and mentally for setbacks, instead of being blindsided by them. Seneca explained it beautifully. Rehearse worst-case scenarios in your mind so that you may not fear them when they come. The goal isn't to dwell on negativity, but to recognize that even the worst outcomes are survivable. By doing this, you strip fear of its power over you. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're worried about losing your job. Instead of letting the fear linger in the background, confront it. Visualize what might happen if you actually lost your job. Yes, it would be tough, but you'd find a way to adapt. Perhaps by taking on freelance work, cutting expenses, or leaning on your network. You'd survive. This exercise gives you a sense of agency and reduces the fear of the unknown. But here's the key. After visualizing the worst, imagine how you'd navigate it and emerge stronger. That's the hidden power of this technique. It doesn't just prepare you for failure. It strengthens your confidence in your ability to bounce back. Number 5. Journaling for clarity, a Stoic's daily ritual. Journaling isn't just for writers or overthinkers. It's a tool that Stoics like Marcus Aurelius swore by. His meditations were essentially his private journal, where he reflected on his thoughts, emotions, and challenges. For us, journaling is an incredibly effective way to declutter an anxious mind and find clarity. Anxiety often feels overwhelming because it's intangible, a jumble of thoughts, worries, and emotions that spiral out of control. But when you write these thoughts down, you give them form. Suddenly, they're no longer swirling in your mind. They're on paper, where you can examine them. Start by asking yourself these simple questions. What's troubling me right now? Is this within my control? What's the worst that could happen, and how would I handle it? Writing down your answers can be a cathartic process. You might even discover that what you're anxious about isn't as big as it feels. Plus, journaling creates a record of how you've navigated past challenges, which can serve as a reminder of your resilience during future tough times. Here's an additional twist. Try ending your journaling session with gratitude. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts your focus from fear to abundance, helping you close your journal with a sense of calm. Number 6. Detachment from outcomes. Focusing on effort, not results. Anxiety often stems from being overly attached to specific outcomes, whether it's a job interview, a first date, or an important decision. We want things to go a certain way. But Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process, not the outcome. Epictetus said, "Do your best and leave the rest to the gods." In today's terms, it means focusing on what you can control, your effort, your preparation, your attitude, and detaching from the result. After all, no matter how much you want something to happen, you can't control external factors like other people's reactions or unforeseen circumstances. For example, imagine you're preparing for a big exam. Instead of obsessing over whether you'll pass, focus on studying as effectively as you can. Put in the work and then trust that you've done your part. By detaching from the result, you free yourself from the constant worry of, what if it's not enough? This mindset isn't about giving up. It's about finding peace in knowing you've done your best. It's also a great way to stay resilient in the face of failure. If things don't go your way, you can reflect on the effort you put in and see it as a learning experience. Number 7. Impermanence, the reminder that this too shall pass. One of the most comforting Stoic teachings is the idea that everything is temporary. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All things pass, even the worst storms end." Anxiety often feels overwhelming because we forget this simple truth. No emotion, no problem, no situation lasts forever. When you're in the grip of anxiety, it's easy to believe that it will last forever. But think back to a time when you felt the same way in the past. Eventually, you moved through it, right? Reminding yourself of the impermanence of all things can help you stay grounded. Try this visualization exercise. Picture your anxiety like a wave. It rises, peaks, and eventually recedes. Instead of fighting the wave, let it flow. Trust that it will pass, just like every other wave you've faced in your life. This mindset isn't about ignoring problems. It's about putting them into perspective. Even the hardest moments contain seeds of growth, and time has a way of bringing clarity. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take a deep breath and repeat to yourself, "This is temporary." How has the concept of impermanence helped you in tough times? Share your insights below. Sometimes just knowing we're not alone in our struggles can be a source of strength. Number 8. Amor fati, loving your fate, even when it's hard. Anxiety often stems from resisting what life throws at us. We fear the unknown, dread difficulties, and wish things were different. But Stoicism teaches a radical yet liberating concept, amor fati, which means love your fate. It's not just about accepting what happens, but embracing it as necessary for your growth. Friedrich Nietzsche later popularized this idea, saying, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." What if you could reframe every challenge as something designed specifically to make you stronger? For example, let's say you lose a job opportunity. At first it feels devastating, but through the lens of amor fati, you might see it as a chance to discover a better fit or develop resilience. Life's twists and turns aren't obstacles. They're stepping stones on your path. Practicing amor fati doesn't mean you have to enjoy every hardship. It simply means acknowledging that what happens is part of your journey. It's about finding meaning, even in struggle. Anxiety often arises when we resist reality, but when we lean into it, we can turn pain into power. Here's an exercise. Reflect on a time when something you thought was bad turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Write it down and remind yourself that life often works in mysterious ways. Have you ever experienced this? Share your story in the comments. It could help someone else see their struggles in a new light. Number 9. Practicing voluntary discomfort. Anxiety. Proofing your mind. One of Stoicism's most underrated practices is voluntary discomfort, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations on purpose to build resilience. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself all the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" The idea is simple. If you expose yourself to discomfort intentionally, you train your mind to handle challenges with less fear. For example, you might skip a meal to realize that hunger isn't as terrifying as you thought. Or you might take a cold shower to practice enduring temporary discomfort. These small acts build mental toughness. How does this help with anxiety? Anxiety often exaggerates our fears, making them seem unbearable. By practicing voluntary discomfort, you remind yourself that you're stronger than you think. You've been through hard things before, and you can do it again. Here's a practical way to start. Pick one small, uncomfortable thing to do this week. It could be waking up an hour earlier, cutting back on social media, or having an honest conversation you've been avoiding. Notice how you feel afterward. You might find that the fear was worse than the reality. Number 10. Memento mori. Finding calm in the ultimate perspective. If there's one Stoic practice that stops anxiety in its tracks, it's memento mori, the reminder of mortality. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fleeting nature of life, writing, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." While this might sound morbid at first, it's actually one of the most life-affirming ideas in Stoicism. Anxiety thrives on overthinking and obsessing over things that might not even matter in the grand scheme of life. But when you remind yourself of your mortality, you gain perspective. Does it really matter what people think of you? Will that awkward conversation still haunt you a year from now? Probably not. Memento mori isn't about fearing death. It's about appreciating life. It encourages you to focus on what truly matters and let go of trivial worries. When you realize that time is limited, you naturally start to prioritize joy, connection, and meaningful action over fear. Here's a practical exercise. Take a moment to imagine your life as a timeline. If you had only a year left, what would you stop worrying about? What would you focus on instead? This exercise isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to inspire you to live fully. Have you ever had an experience where reflecting on the bigger picture helped you calm your anxiety? Share it in the comments. Sometimes, stepping back and remembering the fragility of life can help us focus on what truly matters. And there you have it. 10 powerful ways Stoicism can help you conquer anxiety and reclaim your peace of mind. From reframing your thoughts to practicing gratitude and embracing discomfort, these timeless tools are as practical today as they were thousands of years ago. Which of these practices resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you've ever used any Stoic techniques to manage anxiety, share your story. You never know who might find inspiration in your words. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more life-changing Stoic wisdom. Thanks for watching, and remember, anxiety might feel powerful, but with Stoicism on your side, you are stronger. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic.